pause. Consider the ceaseless motion that surrounds you, the fretful anxiety concerning carriages delayed, obligations unmet, coin counted, and the judgments of those whose names you shall scarcely remember. You dwell in an age of boundless connection, yet feel yourself adrift, powerless before forces you cannot command. That which troubles you most lies ever beyond your grasp. Now turn your mind to my own station, not to the cold marble that men carve in my image, but to the man himself. I, who sat upon the throne of the mightiest empire the world had yet witnessed. I faced pestilence that darkened our cities, betrayal from those I trusted, unending war against barbarous tribes at our borders, and grief, the particular grief of burying one's own children. All earthly power rested in my hands, yet I found myself suffocated by the weight of anxiety. My deliverance came not through martial triumph or the comforts of palace luxury. It emerged from private reflections I set down for myself alone, a philosophical discipline for the survival of the mind, which men now call my meditations. Understand this clearly. These are not the wandering recollections of a diarist. They constitute a system for operating the human mind, built upon 3 immutable principles that shall instruct you in mastering the sources of your modern distress, even as they enabled me to master the chaos of Rome. The first principle stands as the foundation of all Stoic tranquility, the dichotomy of control. I came to understand that all things in existence fall into one of 2 categories, those which lie within our power and those which do not. We command our own thoughts, our judgments, our actions, and our moral choices. This is the inner citadel, the fortress of the self. Next, all else, the weather's temperament, the rise and fall of markets, the slowness of traffic, what another thinks of you, even the span of days allotted to your life. These are external matters, forever beyond your command. Most of your modern suffering springs directly from confusing these 2 categories. You labor desperately to control the external. You dispute with the weather, rage against your slow advancement, or spend hours in anxious rehearsal of conversations already concluded. Thy technique was elementary in its simplicity. When frustration rises, stop. Ask yourself this question alone. Does this lie within my citadel? If the answer is no, then dismiss it entirely from your consideration. To bind your happiness to something external is to surrender your freedom to the whims of fortune. The cucumber is bitter? Throw it away. Do not waste mental energy trying to sweeten what nature has made sour. I wrote these words to myself. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That strength is the inner citadel, and it is impregnable to all that lies beyond its walls. The second principle serves as the antidote to ego and petty anger. The view from above. When we allow ourselves to be consumed by small personal dramas, the ego assumes dominion over reason. A slight offense, a minor setback, these feel catastrophic because we permit them to fill our entire field of vision. I practiced a philosophical exercise. I would imagine myself ascending above the earth, gazing down upon it from the vast reaches of space, watching the flow of history and time as one watches a river from a distant hilltop. From this vantage point, all the wars, the squabbles over trifles, the insults that wounded my pride, all these things that stirred my anger shrank to microscopic insignificance. I came to realize that in the grand architecture of the cosmos, you are but a fleeting point of light. The people who slighted you will soon be dust. The problems that consume your hours will vanish like smoke. This truth is not meant to cast you into despair. It is meant to liberate you from the tyranny of the trivial. It grants you clarity. When the universe itself becomes your frame of reference, You cease wasting precious vital energy on matters that, in truth, do not matter at all. The only thing that retains meaning is how you conduct yourself in this present moment, in this brief interval of existence granted to you. Media's third principle is often misunderstood by those who fear to examine it closely, yet it is the engine of all meaningful action. Memento Mori. Remember, you will die. We habitually think of death as something that shall happen later, at some comfortable distance from the present hour. I commanded myself to remember that death could arrive right now, in this very moment. I employed this fact not to paralyze myself with dread, but to propel myself toward virtuous action. The brevity of life is a moral instruction. It reminds us that we do not have time. We literally do not possess the time for self-pity, for distraction, for nursing resentments. If you might die within the next hour, how would you choose to act? You would act with justice. You would act with kindness toward others. You would focus your attention entirely upon the task immediately before you. You would not postpone virtue until tomorrow, for tomorrow may not come. This principle is a call to urgency. It eliminates procrastination at its root. It forces you to ask of every task, is this essential? Does this serve the common good? I found my stress relieved not by slowing my pace, but by becoming relentlessly efficient with my limited time, driven forward by the knowledge that the curtain could fall at any moment. The wisdom contained in my meditations lies in understanding that these three principles work in concert, each supporting the others. The inner citadel determines what deserves your focus. The view from above provides the cosmic perspective needed to stop caring about what does not matter. And Memento Mori provides the urgent fuel to act virtuously upon those things that do matter. These are not abstract philosophical concepts meant for idle speculation. They constitute a daily practice, a mental operating system for navigating the chaos of the world with the unshakable peace that befits a rational being. This is the beginning of Project Wisdom. If you seek knowledge presented with care and deep insight into the systems that govern power, history, and the human condition, subscribe to this endeavor. Activate the bell so that you do not miss the next discourse on how to deal with people you cannot stand. The journey toward mastering your own mind commences now.